Goldylocks Productions broadcasts universal cosmic frequencies that unlock, awaken, and expand the consciousness of our worldwide viewers and listeners. Goldylocks Productions presents Enlightening Conversations with Pam Silver Eagle.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Perch. Another Tuesday, and here we are with Enlightening Conversations right now. And I have a special guest today, my dear friend, my soul sister, Lea Chapin is here. And we were going to have our other sister, Joanne, with us, Joanne Goll, who was on the stream with us yesterday during Lee's show. For those of you who subscribe and watch often on the Goldylocks Productions platform, Lea is a host as well. Her show runs every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So welcome, Lea. And
Thank you.
I'm so honored and joyful that here we are again today. It feels good, and it's a beautiful day, and we've got plenty to share. And just want to I'm going to actually have Lea introduce herself. I know a little bit about her, but I think, I don't know that I can do it justice. So Lea, would you like to tell the listeners who may be new, a little bit about you and your sacred services?
Thank you, Pam. Well, I am a host of Inspiration from Spirit. I'm here on Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central. I'm in Central, so I keep saying Central. I have a master's degree in counselor education. I worked initially in my first part of my life as a psychotherapist, helping others with their mental health challenges. And then about 27 years ago, I was gifted with the ability to clairaudibly hear the words of the Ascended Masters in the Angelic realm, and now combine my psychotherapy skills, education, and training with my ability to hear spirit to do spiritual counseling for people. So I do individual readings, I teach workshops, I have classes, I've written a couple of books. As with Pam, we do a lot of earth activation work. You can see some of that work on my YouTube channel. If you Google Lea Chapin, Leachapin, you can see some of the sacred sites where I've gone the past couple of years: Ireland, Jordan, Egypt, India, Cyprus, Kuwait. I think that's it. Turkey. I knew I was forgetting one. Turkey. So,
Yes.
So that's a plethora of information. But today we're talking about our work that we did a couple of weeks ago with Joanne and Pam. And so, Pam, take it away.
Yeah. Well, we've got. We're going to just flow right through as it tends to vibe well with both Lea and myself. We like to be in the flow. So, when we live in that now moment, it's where we receive the greatest guidance and certainly ability to shift when we feel guided to shift. So I've been talking a lot on my Tuesday streams right here on the importance of living in the now. And for those of you who may not know me, I am Pam Silver Eagle, and my sacred services are expanding, like most of us who have come on our soul missions to assist all of humanity and Earth Mother, all of living beings, all the kingdoms at this time of great awakening, this great shift as we are co-creating this new golden age of enlightenment where we all coexist as one in the great web of life. And we are remembering where we came and how we are to be heart-centered, and knowing that it is time of coming together, this unification, not of separation. And as our current society systems are collapsing, certainly here in America and all across the globe, it is really important for us to take back our remembrance, our power, not power in a forceful way, but in a heart-centered and conscious way, to come together now and to not allow systems or people or agendas that are built on foundations of the ego, of lower energies, the frequencies of fear, greed, misuse of power, and those lower frequencies. And so there's always plenty to talk about. And as I was starting to say, I'm a gifted healer. I consider myself a galactic shaman. So what is that? Well, I asked that question when I heard it myself. I am definitely connected to Earth Mother and here to serve. I have an amazing relationship, soul contract with her, assisting her with her ascension as she is undergoing her own ascension at this time. I've been here many, many lifetimes and as an indigenous one. And so to the core of me, I understand the importance of recognizing Earth Mother, Pachamama, and all the names that we call her. In the great galaxy, she is known as Virgo. And I happen to be a Virgo. So that's when I decided to re-enter under the sign of Virgo. If you're on this great web of life and remembering what I do then is knowing that I am certainly part Earth, but also from the heavens. And I am been very gifted and blessed and have really honored my own journey, because we've talked yesterday, if you caught part one, we were saying, we have to, each of us is responsible to do our own work. And along my journey, I have, as the wounded healer, I've come up and remembered that I'm here to help others heal, help others with their soul evolutionary journey, just like Lea, along our paths, and we all have our sacred gifts to offer. So I am an anchor. I also anchor in these new earth frequencies, these rainbow frequencies that are just really pouring in now and have been for, a few months, where if you're doing the social medias such as Facebook, you're starting to see that the presence of so much magic, so much of the godness, as I'll say, coming in. And Earth Mother as well, the frequencies, and her frequency has risen. So many of us are here to help anchor in these energies. That is part of the gift of what I am here to do. I also obviously am a Wayshower and been spent about 30 years, a little bit less, in public education and teaching wellness, and as a physical education teacher, athletic coach. And, so the wellness piece comes very natural for me. So I also offer spiritual and guidance, which is infused wellness, mind, body, spirit, soul. It's all one, and it's the realm of what we have to, the scope of what we have to really take care of to nourish our beingness. And so I offer that guidance, and I create nature journeys for people to help people connect out on Earth Mother, and have the vision, and have been holding it for quite some time, as I have helped to create retreats and workshops in the past, and some other locations, and I feel really passionate about the possibilities of co-creating and creating some of those opportunities to take people into sacred spaces for healing and reconnecting, and to receive these frequency, upgrades. So as we start moving more about as a society, I see that on the horizon. I look forward to offering that. And, perhaps Lea and I have been having some conversation about tag teaming on sacred journeys. And, she just spoke that she has done a little bit of that in the past and has seen some amazing places, but also in not just as a vacation, as our work. And the place that so many of us have made it to, have really established and have grown to, is we're doing what we are passionate about. So it's fun, and we are drawing to us through the law of attraction those with who we resonate. And what better way to do this work than to be doing it with people that we resonate with and we love and we trust, and we can help others together. So that's part yesterday. Again, if you missed part one, we were talking with our friend Joanne, who could not make it on with us today, but we were sharing some of our work together, most recently up in the New York State area, and here I'm located in the Erie, Pennsylvania area. And so today we're gonna start with a little bit about where we left off yesterday. This ceremony that we were guided to do here in out on the shores of Lake Erie, which is a tremendous, important water basin for the planet, and very mystical and magical, and yet lots of history of a lot of war, a lot of heartache, a lot of wrongdoings, and as there's all across the globe, and certainly here in America. So that's where we're going to start a little bit today. Lea, do you want to maybe start with a little bit about how we were guided when Joanne included to head out there to Presque Isle, and maybe you can speak to that a little bit.
Well, it felt like that we had, as we spoke about yesterday, we had gone to Ocean City and Olean, New York, and did some work at the Rock City. Joanne and I went to Mount Morris and did some work there, anchoring the energy of the divine sacred feminine into that city. And there was a beautiful mural there. We were talking about bringing liberty, justice, and freedom for all. So we're in this new spiritual revolution in terms of creating and bringing the divine sacred feminine back onto our planet to help bring balance and harmony and peace to our planet. So that was really the premise of all the work that we're doing, is calling in divine mother energy and anchoring that energy into the earth, into the ley lines, into the animal kingdom, the mineral kingdom, all the elements. And so by going to Erie, as you're talking about being a powerful water basin, we were guided to do some healing work there, to do some clearing. So we used the Moses stick, which perhaps some of you may have seen yesterday when you're on. It's actually, it's a walking stick, but I call it the Moses stick because I use it to help anchor powerful energies like Moses, to part and to clear and to anchor energy not only into the earth, but when people use it, it's a power stick to help anchor and to call forth their truth. So we used, Joanne did some emotional clearing work there with us, and we worked with the stick. And we just continued to release all that no longer served us, because we knew that these activations is really important for us to clear our mental, emotional, physical, all of our subtle light bodies, and to clear out any old energies, imprints, beliefs, patterns that are holding us back, either consciously or unconsciously. So while Pam was actually getting her healing, I was guided to go over and sit on a picnic table, and I was looking into the water, just sort of minding my own business, waiting, and somehow that stick that Pam's holding up was floating in the water, and I thought, and I heard in my head, oh, I need to pick that up because that belongs to Pam. And so I did, and to me it looked like a horse. And Pam, do you want to talk about liberty?
Yes, I had ponies and horses growing up, and the last horse I had was a beautiful quarter horse. Her name was Liberty. She was born in 1976, and which was of course relevant to America's birthday. And we were close, and she exited my life in a way that was very hurtful. The decision of someone in my life to let her go, to sell her without me knowing. So I've done a lot of healing work around that, and it's been painful because as those of you who know me and watchers who are getting to know me, I am very connected to the animal kingdom, to Earth Mother, and I spoke yesterday to children as well, which is why I'm sure I started out on the platform of public education to be teaching the youth for all those years. And so that was a hard healing, and I've done a lot of healing work around Liberty leaving, and I know that she's with me in spirit. And so when Lea brought me this stick after I was completed with my ceremony of healing and releasing, in which was so relevant, that the location that this ceremony was taking place, and the freedom that that's here for all of us, to free ourselves from past wounds, beliefs, old vows, not just this lifetime, of course, but so many of our lifetimes, and so many that we're maybe not even conscious of. And so I've been working a lot with the violet flame. It's one of the things, if you've watched my show on Tuesdays, my live streams, that I've been talking a lot. I was initiated at Mount Shasta. And so from there, I really became more aware, or we remembered Saint Germain and the violet flame and the power, the holy amethyst, Archangel Zadkiel. Lea and I both teach the sacred flames, the teachings of the Ascended Masters. And through my journey and becoming more aware and remembering these teachings, I'll show you this book. This is the sacred text that was channeled by Aurelia Louise Jones. Many of you are already into it and following it. And if you're not, and if this calls out to you, you can look at up on Amazon, but certainly Mount Shasta Publishing. So back to the working with the violet flame daily, I do. And so it was time, this transmutation is time for freedom, as it is for all of us in this new age of Aquarius. Saint Germain oversees this new age. And so many people that are finding the flames and the sacred rays are with intention. These are powerful, powerful divine tools. And so it's just another layer that it was time to free myself from the pain and to do the forgiveness and to be free, to heal, to transmute. And so when Lea handed me and she told me what she heard, it was very special for me, and I could, it was very special. But I also, one of the other pieces, and I don't know a whole lot about as far as the history and the lore, but I became aware through Joanne's sister Linda first. What's Linda's last name? We could give her a tag here on her Facebook.
Linda Mayer.
Linda Mayer. There's this old lore of Lake Erie, and I was out in the banks one day of Lake Erie, and I messaged Linda because I had a picture I wanted to send her, something that was really powerful. I was starting to be more and more aware of the dragon kingdoms, and Linda asked me if I'd ever heard of the Loch Ness or the dragon of Lake Erie, or dragons, and I said no. So she went on to tell me, and she sent me a couple of links, and she said, well, here, look this up, the Great Lakes and Bessie. So if any of you are interested and you'd like to check that out, or maybe you already know, and some of you know a lot more about it than I do, but I knew that this was all part of it. So I've been working more and more intentionally with the dragons. And when I've been doing my healing work up here, I've been for those of you who didn't catch yesterday's show, what I was saying is I've been up here for about the last 7 months or so, doing a lot of this healing work, bringing in the frequencies of the rainbow frequencies onto the earth plane to help heal the history in this area, as well as to to raise the vibration, raise the frequency here. And the dragons have really been with me full on. And so the dragons, of course, if we look at that, there's also the relation to the symbolism of the seahorses. And so when Lea brought this out of the sea, out of Lake Erie, Joanne and Lea and I looked at each other and went, okay, there's a lot going on here and a lot of symbolism. So it was really
I think it represents also your freedom to fly with liberty, to be free as your spirit power animal.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you. So, sometimes I think, those of us that are, very, maybe more awake and more conscious, we're aware that we have these signs and symbolism all around us. And I would, I'm really mindful with this audience. We have such a vast, I think, audience that I don't ever want to, leave anybody out. And without judgment, I speak often that we're all in different places along our journey. And so for those of you who may be just kind of either just waking up, or you're starting to sense your guides and our sacred guidance, your sacred guidance and symbolisms, totems, messengers. That's one of the things when I take people on nature journeys, if they're not aware of, I help them to become more aware of the meanings of symbolism of all that is around us, because truly as we are connected as one in this great web of life, they are the messengers. They bring us, we have our totems, we have our animal messengers. The blue jay, he's calling out, perfect timing, happens to be a very strong totem for me, and has a lot of relevance. So, if someone is just sitting here like I am now and they're not aware, that's a loud bird, how obnoxious is it? But when we are from our heart space and we're willing to grow, to learn and to tune in, our universe, our world is so vibrant and so rich, and we are receiving so much help and guidance. We would want to speak to just kind of off of any of that before we continue on about Presque Isle, because you're so tuned in. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I know. Miss Arrogant.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I wish. Yeah, sure. Well, what I was going to say, when I was just sitting there, it was like, it was quiet, listening, and then it was like, when you get quiet and you get centered, and you're, like you said, your heart is open. It was like I just kept watching the waves, and I kept watching that log move back and forth, and then it was like, no, this is for Pam, and then I was like, okay, and then then your mental mind is like, okay. And thank God it was close to the shore, because I'm scared of getting in water over my head. So I was able to get it without falling into the lake. Thank goodness. Because I can't swim.
If you weren't tuned in, you might have been sitting there and went, "Wow, there's some driftwood right there. I'm going to just take it and toss it in the yard. It'll be some good driftwood," which would be okay too, because it brings the energy. Or it could be someone having a campfire there on the shore on the beach line, going, here's some great firewood. No, this is a sacred piece. This is not firewood.
I know, and which is so interesting. I picked it up, and it was like, oh, this is Pam's horse. This is Liberty. And it's like, how amazing that the universe or God or Spirit or Mother Earth or the water, whoever did it, whoever brought that right in front of me, it's for you. So it's like, there's always magic. Like Pam says, there's magic all the time. All you have to do is listen, be aware, try not to disregard it. These are the miracles and the magic that are happening now. This is how the universe is supporting us. So if you can open yourself up to that, knowing that the universe is supporting us, that everything is in divine order. Just like yesterday, I went to go take a walk, and at the exact moment I was taking a walk, the doctor friend who needed to pay my husband some money was putting the money in the mailbox, and as I was walking by, and so then because Don was concerned that maybe he wasn't going to get his check. And then right in the exact moment, I'm walking by, Dr. Halstein's putting the envelope in the mailbox for somebody else to bring over to Don. And, I ended up being divinely orchestrated to get Don's money because he was leaving town today. So it's like, come back and go, look, everything is divinely orchestrated for our highest good. If we listen, if we're in tune. I mean, I could have been just a minute later or a minute earlier or whatever, and he was guided to put the money in the mail. I mean, these are just like simple little things, but it's like, these are like powerful synchronicities. So when I found that for you, that was like really important, and I really was so happy to give you Liberty back.
She came a little fast-paced back from the water's edge, and I was just sort of coming out of my powerful experience, and she goes, "This is for you." And at first I was like,
like a little kid. I brought you a gift.
And I looked at it and I went, okay. And then she spoke, and then I could feel the energy around it. And then, of course, it's a whole new piece. But, a couple things we had said earlier in the show, this is part of that living in the now, because that's where we really invite these auspicious synchronicities that really, again, are here to guide us, throughout our days. So we have to be in the now, because if we're stuck in our agenda and got to do this, then you're going to miss so much of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And, we all get in these we have these moments or these days where we've got these, busyness going on. We all, every time that we surrender, even if it's just sitting outside or taking a walk, that truly is, to me, the richest place. That is true meditation to me, because that's what brings me into the now moment. And that's where we receive our messages and guidance. But just the other piece of it is it raises our frequency to that frequency of joy. And, that's such an important frequency to be in. And in the times that we're living in, again, we talk about this often, and we talked about it yesterday, there is so much going on that is not of joy, that is not of love. So these are important tools and ways of being and ways of nourishing ourselves, our self-care, our self-love, our self-nourishment, to gift ourselves something that seems as simple to just go out and be quiet out in nature as much as we can. And, it's of no cost, and it is so fulfilling. It is such great abundance. It brings us such great abundance. So it is truly magical, and it just keeps getting more magical and more exciting every day. So one of the things, maybe, go ahead.
Oh, can I share something? I was going to say, these activations that we do are so important because we're actually connecting our physical bodies to the earth. And there, if we're open to it, within our root chakra, within the soul chakras within our feet, we're connecting to the crystalline core of Mother Earth, and we're grounding ourselves. We're bringing the energy of the support of Mother Earth into our bodies, grounding ourselves. This is where we are present centered. Again, these are where we are tapping in, are able to tap into our soul, tap into our higher self, tap into our higher awareness, tap into our God essence, as above, so below. So these activations are really helping us to become physical, spiritual beings. So the work that Pam is doing by taking people out in these nature guided journey natures. Am I saying it right? Guided
nature. Yeah, it's a nature journey, wellness
nature journey. Are so important because people are so disconnected. I don't want to make a broad statement, but we're in the house a lot. We're with computers, we're with our cell phones, with technology. We've been disconnected from the earth. Now with a pandemic, we're disconnected from our workplaces, or for a lot of us, or our families. And so, like you said, nature is free. This is a place, a time now in this pandemic, which Spirit has said before, this is a time for us to reset ourselves, to begin to realign the priorities, and begin to rediscover our own intuitive abilities, our own connection to ourselves. And by being outside and being connected, this will help us to electrify us. It'll actually set us on fire in terms of being able to be connected. So I'll throw that back at you, Pam.
Yeah, right on. It's well said, and good reminders, good information. What was coming to mind, Lee, when you were just talking, and we were talking about this being outside, and one of the blessings of this great, what we call the spiritual global retreat that we've all been on worldwide here for the last however many months, is that people have reached, we've been talking about freedom, people have reached a point at the soul level of they are wanting their freedom. And so we all have choices that we can make. And without getting into a lot of the topic of the mask, we have talked even yesterday, I believe, a little bit. We were sharing about our time that we did, that Lee was a guest and teacher, and brought some sacred transmission into a local wellness center. I'd like to give a shout out to Sherry over at Stoneworks here in Erie, PA. She's up in the West Village Plaza. If you haven't yet discovered her sacred space, it's recommend going in there and checking out all that she has and what's being offered. But people have different comfort zones when it comes to the mass, and we all, it's important to discern. I won't go into a store full of people without a mask, and different locations have different ordinances. But when you're outside and you're out in the woods, or you're even out in your yard, of course, take off the mask, breathe in the life, the essence of the sacred element of air, of breath. It's the sacred breath. It's so important. And we absolutely positively should not be wearing masks all the time for a lot of reasons. And that's an essential one. What I also wanted to say is, as we've because we've been so controlled for so many months, there's this yearning to be free. And so people, what I'm reading is for vacations in the summer, those of you who are living in areas where it is a summer season, or maybe not just summer, that people are going out into the land. And that is one of the blessings of this time, that people are this yearning to get back out into land. And so as the more people get back out into nature, we develop more of that respect again. And I would like to speak to the youth. The youth, there's so many of them are very awakened and tapped in and tuned in to Earth Mother, and to all the sacred magic that is around us and around them. I, being in public education for so many years, I watched through the years the decline of uh, not just the children, but certainly the children, that population, that demographic, of their comfort level in being outside. We had become a society here in America where, unless a child is being raised in a family who spends a lot of time outdoors, the children were becoming not even they didn't even want to be outdoors. My outdoor classroom for 30 years was that. It was outside, and children over the years, I watched it change where they weren't even comfortable. They don't want to sweat. They don't want to get their shoes dirty because an adult somewhere gave them the what for about don't get your new shoes dirty. And so they would, the behaviors of children just being so uncomfortable outdoors was really, it's tugged on my heartstrings because I grew up outdoors, and that helped me to really appreciate all that is the outdoors. So now, back to one of the blessings of this time is as families are going, the people are taking campers and pitching tents and going back into the parks and into the beautiful spaces in the land. It is my hope, and I would please encourage all the adults who are listening to really teach the children how to be out in nature. And those who are the young ones, the short-legged ones who are tapped in and tuned in, allow to listen to their wisdom that they're bringing through. And if they say they're seeing something, something magical, like, maybe the fairies or, the beings of the nature elementals, don't discourage that or poo-poo that, because they, honor what they're seeing and be open. What maybe they will share with you that will enhance your awareness. And together we have to change how we have been existing here, coexisting on Earth Mother. Too many toxins, too much pollution, and we're becoming. We have to become more sustainable and in a natural, flowing way with Earth Mother. The wind farms and solar power, and refusing, reuse, recycle. That has to become our way of life. And it's amazing to me, even this place where I'm currently staying. We've got there's a huge community here. Wonderful people, and there's no recycling set up. So, there's so much waste, and all of us, each of us, every day can look at how we're living life and make some changes so that we can contribute to a healthier planet. And that's for all of us. There's no selfishness for what we do to others, including the land we do unto ourselves. And that affects our wellness, our being well. So I see now, this time I spend out in the woods, sometimes I see families, and ways of getting the energy out, especially for the children. All of us have to express our energy in healthy ways. But I also see a lot of disrespectful actions out in the woods or out in the land. So we have to be mindful and respect and treat her as a living being, Earth Mother, and all the kingdoms. There's a way of beingness out there. And that's one of the things I like to teach. And as a co-creator of the Earth Care Ministry down at First Unity St. Petersburg, I'm real proud of the work that we accomplished, that we created, and that we accomplished, and that is still going on there for the folks that are holding down the fort, per se. So again, we each have to start within our own lives, our daily lives, and make sure we're living in a respectful, in a good way, walking the red road. So Lee and I, we've been talking here a little bit about, we're receiving these amazing frequencies from the heavens of purification. And we've just been talking about some of the intentional ceremonies and the personal work. So for those of you who may be wondering, well, where do you go to seek some support? Obviously, again, you can check out Lee's website, Facebook page. And I don't have a website, but I do have my Facebook page. So please check out my services. And there's so many light workers and healers out there that are doing similar work. So please, just reach out and get yourself some support if needed. Lee, do you have anything you'd like to add to that as far as people finding support and that they know they can trust and that they feel safe with?
Well, I just ask people just to trust their intuition and trust the synchronicities. So maybe there's a book that fell off, or somebody sent you an email with a link to read something, like a lady had a former client had told me about a book, the Sophia Code, and I knew that I needed to have that. So I didn't ignore it. So there's always messengers. So if we listen and we once again tune into our heart, then we'll be able to be guided to what we, how we live our daily life and those spiritual practices that are important to us. But I wanted to make an point that you're talking about honoring the earth. This is a really important time because we're in this time of purification. This global pandemic, as Spirit has talked about it, it's a purification time. It's purifying not only the earth, but allowing the earth to rest because people are not driving, they're not commuting. Pam, you'll probably attest more of this than me, that there's more wildlife that's being seen, that's being recognized. There's a rejuvenation process that's happening. And so not only is this a time for Mother Earth to be able to rejuvenate herself from what humanity or humans have done as we've not respected the Earth Mother, because it's important for us to be able to realize that we are guests here on, Mother Gaia, and that we've taken and taken and taken, and she can only give so much. And so now this time, I believe, is time for Mother Earth to receive, to be rejuvenated, but it's also a time, if we so choose, to turn within, to begin to purge that which no longer serves us. And this is a powerful time of rejuvenation and purification. Yesterday, for many of you know, I channel Mary Magdalene and Jeshua on my weekly Mary Magdalene call, and we talked about purification, and we talked about this time period of purging all that no longer serves us, and moving into this beautiful state of grace, as we're talking about, and allowing grace and the energy of divine order and the synchronicities of our life to now come into place so that we can walk the sacred path here, on Sacred Earth Mother with true intention and with our true mission.
It's so important. And, that's the thing that, and, we're seeing it, we're affirming it, many of us, and truly we are the ones we've been waiting for. And, if we're waiting for somebody else to do it, it's not going to happen. And so we jump in and we, this is where we come together, we rise up in peace, and we co-create these changes. And it's a really, important time. So true what Lea was speaking. And
we are the change we wish to see. It begins with each one teach one, each one lead one. It begins with ourselves. Mm-hmm. And Pam's work is so powerful to be able to connect with the earth, on these guided journeys that she takes, being out doing this work. If you feel guided, please contact her, and I know she'll be able to assist you and help change your life and help you to connect to the earth and find the magic again and find the joy in life. Because when I watch her, she's so joyful. She loves being outside. I'm more of an inside person. I'm more that celestial person. I'm always contacting the spirits. That's my life. Her life is about being outside, and it's really helped me to. I grew up on a farm, so I spent lots of times outside. But I have to admit, I'm one of those people who don't like to get dirty. So it's important for me to like get dirty and to be outside and sweaty.
That's why you were waiting on top of the boulder the other week, right up at Rock City. That's why you were waiting up, and Joanne was already down the chute, and you were waiting. I have that video clip. That cracks me up every time I watch it, of us discerning who was going next. But
yeah, you go. You go first. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, Pam, you're just a powerful role model for people, and you've helped me. Be able to reconnect with Earth even more. I mean, I do with my sacred time, but being outside, it's really fun and it's joyful. And so for those who want to be able to find that joy again in life and be able to connect to themselves with the earth and to connect to their soul, call Pam. Pam will get you all lined up.
Thank you. Yeah, it is my joy. It gets me fired up. I stay out as long as I can, and the weather up here in Erie has been really nice. So the temperature for me is kind of what I consider perfect. It's, in the 70s. Today's another beautiful, clear day. We did have a nice deluge of rain a couple of days ago. It had been, getting fairly warm for this area, and things were drying out. But I get up, some mornings I get up and Earth Mother's just calling me, and all of the kingdoms. So I'm outside from as early as I can be, till dark 30 and beyond, sometimes just gazing at the stars and the moon. And, our galactic brothers and sisters are making themselves so much more present and, seen. It's undeniable. And a real quick one thought before maybe we move on, because I know our time is already passing. Are we going to have time to do what I had asked you to do? Maybe a channel, or is it too short? We're about 20 minutes.
I'm going to have to move my phone and plug it in because my battery is going low. So I'm going to have to take out the headphones and plug in. So hopefully you can hear me. Hold on a second.
Yeah. Okay. While we get this set up, what I did want to say, something to what Lea and I were just talking about, is this time and how we're shifting. And the beauty of what I was talking about, teaching young ones and really maybe reteaching ourselves and adults to be in respect and to be in that way on the earth plane. One of the beauties of today, of the now, is that we have so many people and people co-creating, bringing science and spirituality together. Of course, there have been pioneers who've been doing that for a very long time, but it's such an important time because the people who aren't as awakened yet and need the scientific evidence, we have that bridge that's come together now. And more of that evidence is being put out there, whether it be in books or social media, workshops, platforms. So as with everything, we're getting a little bit of a crack from something of yours.
Yeah, I had to take the earphones out to plug in my phone because my battery was dying. So otherwise you would have lost me. Okay.
There, whatever you. So the Morse code that's coming through, is that from what is that from?
I'm not sure. I think it's just because I don't have my earbuds in, and I can't put my earbuds in with and the charger. So somehow my phone. So I've got either you get to hear the crackling, or you get to lose me.
Okay, or you go away from that. It's it may be just distracting enough. For a minute there, it's intermittent. It's not constant.
Okay.
Let's see if we can. We really would like to keep you on if we can get to where we have less of that. See, like right there, that's okay. So I was going to ask you, we talked about your channeling, but with that distraction, it may be a little too much.
Yeah, and I had to be on the phone earlier, so I didn't get the phone charged up.
I understand. Well, you know what? Maybe what we can do is, we had talked about, well, you can kind of feel into that if you think you want to feel. Yeah, I just think it may be too much of a distraction. We're, for those of you who haven't tuned into yesterday's stream, Lea has invited Joanne and I to be on her show next Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And Joanne and I are getting ready to go out on a sacred journey here in a couple of days. I'm going to be up in the Pittsburgh region of New York State. We talked about this work we're doing with the great peace as the peacemakers, modern day peacemakers, and again, healing and clearing some of the energies of the history that was here, and specifically with the indigenous ones in this area, which is the Iroquois Nation. So we're excited to, next Monday, we'll be bringing back our experiences, our shares, and I had asked Lea to channel today if she would be to bring in some a message from the Bear Clan, which is a really special group of guardians who are guiding us in our work, of the three of us, Lea and Joanne and myself, but also, which is their territory. This is the land which they are guardians of, and so Lea was going to channel them for us this morning. But it sounds like maybe with the technical difficulties, excuse me, maybe what we can do is postpone that until Monday for your show. And we can just kind of continue our discussions here till the rest to our time is up this morning. Now it is calmed down. Let's see how it goes. maybe. I think that the hamsters got tired, or maybe it's the chippies. We talked about the chippies. They're the corn planters. Maybe they settled down. So we're going to just all, everybody take a drink of pure water. Bless that water as you take it in. Give gratitude for the water. The pollen is flying up here in these parts, so is a great way to release the toxins in our body, and hydrate, so important with these frequencies coming in. And Lea, it sounds like it's nice and quiet now. So what do you think? Can't hear me? No? No. Okay. So Leah's on, Leah's muted, but she's still there. There's some symbolism in that, I think. So, I cannot. One other thing we should tell our listeners: Lea and I are both working off of our mobile phones, which you're probably aware is Lea's continuing her dance with technology. But neither one of us can see comments. I know some of the other show hosts here on this platform, have dialogue with the viewers, and which Lea and I both really, wish we could do, so we could take questions. The best we can offer is that you maybe leave any comments or your questions, and then after the airing, we can get back to you. And that's just the way we are streaming here right now, as far as not being able to see who's even on board. And I never know until the show is complete, and then I go, oh, look who was with us today. And then I try to send out messages of gratitude, and just really we appreciate everyone's support that is viewing and joining us, and we appreciate you sharing our links forward so that more people can tune in to our offerings and our shares. And we've learned these last few months that this is a good way to come together through social media, especially for those who are still really not doing much social interaction. And it's been a time of angst and through this separation that was created. So this is a good way to come together and to have some sacred time, and to share not just the wisdom that's coming through, but also the energies of love and higher frequency that we bring. There's always a transmission. When you are with me, you are receiving, because I always set the intentions, and it is part of my contract. It is part of my service, just the sacred transmissions that move through me. And I want to thank those who have left some comments through the weeks about what they are feeling and sometimes seeing and receiving in my presence. And I just want to affirm and know that I hold this mission of mine in a sacred way, and my beingness in a sacred way. And so I'm delighted to have all of you who've tuned in and joined in. And excuse me, it looks like Lea has indeed gone away. She may come back, I don't know. But in the meantime, again, this is such an important time. This is, we are at a crossroads. We are all starting at blank slates, fair to say. We have a lot of choices to make. And it's so important to spend that time in the stillness and get clear from your heart center. What is it? What is it that you want to co-create for your life? And, in these last few months alone, there's been tremendous shifting, and we're discovering that sometimes our vision that we had in the past, or our hopes and dreams and wishes, has had a lot of transformation and has shifted. And so, a lot of people have trouble with change. I grew up in a very in a traditional family setting, and the lineage didn't do well with change. There was this protocol of you're born, and then you go to school, and then you maybe beyond public school, college perhaps, or into the workforce, because this area was very much a industrial city. So lots of factories and hardworking people, farmers, etc. And then then after that you retire and this is life. And then I don't know, you go and you bowl or you play golf, and that's without judgment, but that was kind of the thing. And so my life path has obviously been much different, and my journey has taught me to not only be accepting a change, but to step into the power of co-creating the change for myself and for the good of the masses. And so, this is an important time to go within, and the healing is coming up. These frequencies are bringing up old stuff that needs to be released, is asking to be released. And that's why when we say you have to do the work, it's part of the work to release, to first of all recognize and release. And many of us have been working on some things and releasing and healing for a long time. And that's where, again, you can invoke other people, sacred people with their services. If you need some help, we all need some help sometimes. And as Lea gave good suggestion, advice on, follow your intuition. There are people out there offering services that may not really resonate and may not be of your highest good. There are lots of, even in different locations, of course, we have different restrictions, but there are things such as drum circles, workshops, and sacred gatherings, meditations, etc., yoga classes, Tai Chi, Qigong, ways of moving the life force. Again, just discern, pray, ask for guidance, listen, and follow that guidance. And this is how we free ourselves and we heal and we step into our unified selves and empowerment, but in a loving way, the cosmic love, divine love. So just scanning. I wish I could see some questions, but like I said, I cannot. So I think what we'll do, we're just really a few minutes away from the conclusion of this edition from the Perch. Now, let me just pause for a moment to see if there's anything else I can bring through, wants to come through. Self-nourishment and wellness is, part of what I teach, mind, body, spirit, soul. It's a package deal. You have to do the work and then treat yourself. On days that you're tired with these energies coming in, and there are days where you'll feel more energetic, excuse me, than others. Do the best you can to nourish yourself. If it's an afternoon nap, do that. Drinking pure water, eating healthy foods that are of higher frequency. And it's different for all of us. I spoke to that last week on my Perch time at the Perch with, some people are eating no meats. Some people their body temples seem to require some of the meat protein. And when we hold, our practices in a sacred way, there are ways. What might be right for you may not be right for anyone else. But when we do it from love and the understanding that all life is sacred, then we are the ride is, thank you. I am seeing there's my good friend. So the shift is on. We are in the just building momentum. The ride is accelerating. Right on, my brother. And so again, back to this, important to take care of the body temple. And we do that by nurturing and nourishing ourselves in the right way. Take time to rest. Be in the places, in the spaces, and with the people that nourish you. And anything that feels of conflict, discern. Some of you, if you're working in workplaces where, you may not have a real choice, and this is where your workspace is for now, and unless and until it changes, then, you bring in your protection, and you be in your power of love and of light, and, respect that others are having their own journey. I've had a lot of practice this last X number of months. I'm staying here helping my parents with some challenges. And, there's a lot of karmic dance going on and healing that is taking place. And I have to respect, where I'm at and respect where they're at. And so I take a lot of self-time and really create healthy boundaries. So important for all of us in all of our relationships, workplaces, friendships, partnerships, communities, etc. To really remembering how to coexist. And when we follow from the heart center, that is, that's what we're being asked to do. And realizing everyone's in a different place on their journey. And so, as we continue to heal and grow and co-create the new, we must do it from our heart center. And we must nourish ourselves in order to be able to do that and honor our own journeys, and yet our brothers and our sisters all around the globe in this great coming together, this oneness. So I look forward to reading over any comments, and it looks like Lea has bowed out, stepped out for the duration of this time of the on the perch. And so I look forward to sharing with you as I was speaking, my friend, and I are going to go up into the New York State area, and we're going to do some really cool healing work. And my friend Joanne and she was on the show yesterday, on Lee's show with me. So if you haven't checked into that, check that out on Goldylocks Productions, Lea Chapin's show. And we're going to be able to share with you next week when we come back some of our experiences of our journey, our healing work up there. And we look forward to that. And so I just would like to remind everyone to, take care of yourselves. And, it's important to have that alone time, even those of you who are parents and have little ones to care for. Self-nurturing is of the utmost importance, allows us to heal, allows us to step in more and more to our own transmutation into freedom and victory in the light. And I thank you for spending some time with us here on the perch today. And although Rev Lea is off, she's with us, I know, in spirit and in heart. And we look forward to sharing more in the future together. We're getting a lot of compliments on our share. Even yesterday we had, as I said, Joanne on with us. And, we like sharing together. We have a lot of wisdom and love and gifts to share, as do so many of you. And again, this is how we come together in the oneness that we are, and we are meant to be coexisting in. So get outside and wherever you are, and be on Earth Mother. Take good care of you, nourish yourselves. And we look forward to visiting with you next week on Lee's show at 2 p.m. Eastern, and right here on Goldylocks Productions. And again, I'll be on, my plan is to be live Tuesday right here on the perch, and we'll see what comes. So be in the flow. So important to stay in the flow and give gratitude. So I send you all blessings, and, be well, be well. Oh.
Become a Goldylocks Productions VIP patron. Receive exclusive access to live stream special and other epic perks. Join the Goldylocks Productions VIP community today.